I am not exaggerating when I say this, that Arcadia Bluffs is not only one of the most beautiful golf courses that I've ever been to, but one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been to. And the crazy thing is, even with all of this, there's still great value playing here. So what's going on, golfers? Karsten here. Before we get started, if you love golf and want to play the best courses, be sure to hit subscribe. All right, let's dive in. When I say Arcadia Bluffs is right on Lake Michigan, I mean it is literally right on Lake Michigan. Like, if you're not careful on certain golf holes, you could seriously take a nasty fall. Just about every hole on the golf course is either on Lake Michigan or has a stunning view of Lake Michigan. Arcadia Bluffs is link-style golf at its finest, and for the most part it's very open and hardly any trees on the golf course. Yet, just because a majority of the holes are pretty open doesn't mean that you have ample room to miss, because playing the right angle is everything, especially when it comes to the greens. Being on the correct tier of the green is crucial, and missing that approach shot can really increase the likelihood of a three-putt. I know that that kind of goes without saying, but it's especially true here. And while we're discussing greens, my experience is that they've always been very well cupped and run pretty true. One of the reasons why this course is so hard is all the giant bunkers throughout the course. These bunkers are scary, and they would be almost comical if they didn't have such potential to ruin a really good round. There are multiple bunkers that are over 10 feet tall, and it can totally mess with your head, as demonstrated by this chunk. Every time I've played Arcadia Bluffs, the course conditions have just been immaculate. Everything from the tee boxes to the fairways to the sand traps are meticulously cared for, and even the last time out there, we got a ton of rain the morning of, and the course drains really well. We couldn't believe that with all the rain that we got, that it wasn't walking or cart path only. The greens play pretty quick with a lot of movement on them, but overall, as I've mentioned, are in good condition. Arcadia Bluffs also spares no expense when it comes to the amenities either. Let me give you the rundown. There is a great range and short game area that I recommend arriving plenty early to make sure your wedges and putting game is on point. Yardage devices in the carts that don't just tell you the yardage, but the right angles and how to play the golf hole. There are drivers that take you from the parking lot to the clubhouse. It isn't even like it's that long of a walk. Awesome food at the turn and at the restaurant. Even with all of this, probably my favorite amenity is the white lawn chairs where you can drink a beer while watching the sun set over Lake Michigan. And let's just take a quick pause so you can soak this in. Last note on the experience, perhaps the only downside of Arcadia Bluffs is that the pace of play can be slower, as the average pace of play is about 4.5 to 4 hours and 45 minutes, so make sure to schedule ample time, as you won't want to be racing the sunset. That said, the quickest summary I can do is that Arcadia Bluffs is truly a world-class golf experience. Now to the signature holes. Arcadia Bluffs is actually one of those courses where every hole on the golf course is a signature hole. There's literally not a single letdown hole on this entire course. Narrowing it down was tough, but the two that stand out the most to me are holes number 3 and number 11. As of July 2020, hole number 11 at Arcadia Bluffs is my favorite golf hole that I have played. You literally go from one of the highest points of the golf course to one of the lowest points at the golf course, all in one par 5. The view of Lake Michigan and the rolling bluffs is just breathtaking. Plus, there's a wide and downhill fairway that's a recipe for hitting bombs and going for the green into an absolutely breathtaking golf hole. Hole number 3 stands at the highest point on the golf course with another stunning view of Lake Michigan and many of the other golf holes. It's pretty straightforward par 5 with several deep fairway bunkers that need to be avoided to have a good shot at getting the green and regulation. Due to the green side bunker and the valley long of the green, the recommended approach shot is coming in from the right. My honorable mention is hole number 13, which is a par 3 that overlooks Lake Michigan, and you have to hit over this really big valley. It's nice that this isn't that tough of a golf hole with a really big green to land on, and the views are just absolutely stunning. I only give 2 honorable mentions on special occasions, and this certainly calls for it. Honorable mention number 2 is probably one of the more underrated holes on the golf course, hole number 8. It's a dogleg right that's straight uphill par 4 with a very scary greenside bunker. What I love about this hole is the contrast of views. The tee shot begins with this beautiful northern Michigan feel with these giant trees as a backdrop, and then concludes overlooking the dunes and Lake Michigan. We transition to talking about the value at Arcadia Bluffs, but before we do, it's important for some context of what it costs to play other top courses. For example, the starting point to play Pebble Beach is $575. To play Whistling Straits, you're looking at least $450. Even a more affordable course like Erin Hills during peak summer rate is $320 and you have to walk. So naturally, you would think that playing Arcadia Bluffs would cost you an arm and a leg. All of this makes Arcadia Bluffs' peak rate of $215 feel very reasonable for a world-class golf experience that includes everything. There's also a great twilight rate of $140 after 4 p.m. Even though it can stay light out here till 9:30 though, I don't recommend risking it unless you absolutely have to, as you don't want to be rushed playing here. Now to discuss my final grade of Arcadia Bluffs, and based on the value, overall experience, and the signature holes, I have absolutely no problem saying that this scores a perfect 10 out of 10 on my scale. Though I still have some courses to play, I've also been lucky to play some really nice courses, and as of July 2020, there's no doubt in my mind that Arcadia Bluffs is the #1 golf course that I have played to date. There's just absolutely nothing like playing here. It's a golfer's dream, and in back-to-back summers, it's been the highlight of that summer. So be sure to move this up on your next course to play list because it's absolutely fantastic. You just can't beat the value, the experience, and the beauty that you'll get playing at Arcadia Bluffs. So I'm curious if you agree or disagree. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you work for a golf course and would like me to come out and do a review of your track, then slide up in my DMs. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you again for watching, and as always, play well, my fellow hacks.